Hi guys, this is a quick review of the King Motor X2. The plan was to do an unboxing video and then the break-in, but there was no point as there's already an unboxing on the internet. So I decided to wait a couple of weeks so that I've put some tanks through it, I've bashed it, it's been rolled, it's been jumped, so that I can put some real feedback into what it's like when it has been rolled and it has been knocked about. Out of the box initially there was nothing loose, nothing was rattling, my centre diff wasn't leaking like some of them have been reported on various forums across the internet. In fact, the only issue with it out of the box was the endpoints. The throttle endpoint was ridiculous. It's at 100% out the factory. I've got mine dialed back to 53% and the throttle still opens all the way. That additional 47% is what's burning the throttle servos out and stripping the servo horn, which is plastic on the X2. Other issues was with the pull starter. That's just a general King Motor issue, more of an X2 issue. The little screw in the pull starter that holds the whole assembly together kept coming undone. Yeah, it's got a genuine CY pull starter on it now, and it is absolutely fine. Another issue that I had with it after the break-in, the compound that is stuck to the clutch shoes fell off. It wasn't heat related. At that moment that happened, the truck hadn't actually moved under its own steam, its own engine power, so that was just a faulty clutch. I will say that I've had a fair few other King Motor RCs and I've not had that issue with the clutch before, so I'm just going to put that one down to being unlucky. Aside from that, the truck's been absolutely flawless. It's jumped, it's rolled, it's not broken anything, nothing's bent or snapped or cracked. It isn't stock. I have put a few parts on it, not because the truck needs it, but because I've had them lying around spare. So I just thought, if I've got them, why not fit them? Let me take the case off. In terms of velocity, it looks the same. However, it's not perfect. It's not 100% of velocity. There is some differences with the battery tray. The suspension arms are slightly different, and some of the cage bars in the plastic cage are a little bit different as well. So you can say it's 95% of a Lousy 5 in terms of it being a clone. Shock setup was good out the box, a lot better than the King Motor Bahas that I've had in the past. I have changed the air filter and the gas cap. The ones out the box were orange. The truck and the anodised parts on the truck are red. So they were changed because they didn't match, and I'm a bit funny when it comes to things like that. So I bring them in a little bit closer. I've added a TTO to keep an eye on the revs. The engine does rev higher than I was expecting it to do. I was expecting between the 15 and 16,000 mark. It'll hit just over 17,000, which isn't high as things like an OBR or an SCZ, you know, or a Scott Finley engine. But for what that engine is, a Chinese engine, I was quite impressed by it. I've put some full force brass fittings on. Again, there's nothing wrong with the stock fuel system. I merely had those lying around in my toolbox, so I just put them on. You'll also notice top plate, the braces, the clutch carrier and the extra brace at the back. They were included in the box with the truck at no extra cost. So they were fitted then. The only things that I have bought are the King Motor aluminium shock towers, which do hold up well. Centre diffs had the oil changed to 300,000, the thickest I could get my hands on. I didn't particularly want to run a diff locker, so I just found the thickest diff oil that I could find. One thing I will say, if you do buy a King Motor and you're having trouble starting it for the very first time, you have to put the idle screw all the way in. I don't know why that is. The other King Motor fifth scales that I've had, the idle screw's been really good. But on this thing, it has to be screwed all the way in for it to keep the throttle open enough for the engine to tick over and start. Other upgrades that it needs, well, needs is arguable. A genuine CY clutch. King motor clutches are cheap and cheerful. They get the job done, however, they don't last very long. The compound on them is cheap. So if you can afford to buy a genuine CY clutch, I would change it. The same goes for a pull starter as well. King motor pull starters are very hit and miss. You might get an amazing one that lasts forever first time round, or you might get an abysmal one. Get yourself a genuine CY and it will last a very, very, very long time. And of course the obligatory kill switch. Apart from that, nothing else has been changed. It needs nothing at this particular moment in time. I don't feel that it needs anything else changing. I probably will put an ESP head kit on the engine at some point, but at the moment I'm in no rush. The exhaust is silenced. The other King Motor X2 that's in the group that I bash with doesn't have the silencer on. This thing is quiet. With the other fifth scale started, you can't hear this thing tick over. Some people like it, some people hate it. I'm still in two minds about it. I love the noise of a fifth scale, however, it is nice having something that's quiet that I can use in a few more places. So if you've got any questions about the X2 or what it's like after you've had it for a couple of weeks, drop me a message or comment on the video below and I'll try my best to answer everything. Cheers, bye.